Richard, everyone's talking at the moment, of course, about AI. It's a disruptor. An innovator. Um, what's happening in your space with AI? What would you like to share with us in terms of your thoughts?
I think AI is now everywhere. We're hearing about it on mainstream news, and it is starting to have an impact. I think AI or machine learning is being used for quite some time, particularly with the larger insurers. But what I think is happening more recently is the large language models, the Chat GPT type AIs, are starting to be used more widely, and they're very, very good at doing things like unstructured text. So you can, for instance, you can give a large language model all of your policy documents for all of your insurance policies, and then ask it questions about what cover you've got, and perhaps difficult things that you wouldn't be bothered to read all of them, but something like a large language model could perhaps give you that summary. We're also using them for things like fraud detection, and sort of analyzing written information for consistency, and asking different questions of those large language models to help us understand if we're talking to a real human or not. So they're becoming more useful, more prevalent, I would say, in our sector.
I can imagine that part of the challenge here, coming back again to the theme of education, is that when people talk about AI, when they learn about it, they read about it, they're only looking at it through the prism, through the lenses, if you like, of mainstream media and the stories that are being shared, and maybe actually quite unaware of the full capabilities, particularly the language models that you've just been
Hmm.
referring to. How do we overcome that problem? How do we better educate business owners in particular, um, of what capabilities are available to them?
Yeah, look, I think my kind of quick answer to that is ask your kids, because they are already using ChatGPT, for research, for homework, and it's
Yeah.
absolutely the case. But the tools are very accessible, so it is possible to go onto the ChatGPT website and just start to interact with it yourself, and challenge it, ask questions, tell it to answer in a certain way. And very quickly, through experimentation, you can see how powerful a tool they are,
Mm.
and how they might be applicable in your particular sector. So they are there, and thankfully it's not too expensive, and it's very easy to access them.
But again, even so, what we're getting from ChatGPT, the main way it's used is we're being given information, we're asking a question, information is coming back. You were referring earlier to being able to process and analyze information and detect whether fraud had been involved. That seems to be another level up in terms of what people
Yes.
may be aware of is possible.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so there's ways of using the large language models where you provide, let's say, additional information, and that might be specific about your policy, or it might be information about your business. And then the large language model will use that as context for then answering the questions that you pose to it. So it won't just be general purpose or general knowledge questions, if you like. It will then be very specific about the information you provided. And of course, that gives it a huge amount of power when it comes to offering tech support for a product, or providing information, through a chat session about, the terms of an insurance policy, or what have you.